Mr. Anthony Greco. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, Dan. How's it going?
Doing pretty well.
Yeah?
Yeah. So before we get started here, why don't we just start with a current snapshot of your life?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 31 years old, first off. I work at a company called Liberty Tire Recycling. I'm a senior financial analyst there. This will be my 6th year in that role there. Had a couple of other little jobs beforehand, but nothing really major. So this is sort of, I would say, my main career, and I do plan to be there for a long time as well. Recently started dating a wonderful woman named Erica. Met her at my sister's wedding in April, and it's been going well since then too. So that's also affected some.
Nice. That's like a storybook type thing.
Right.
Yeah, met her at a wedding.
Yeah, it's been very nice. And first time, my sister's actually helped me, meet somebody that worked out well. So,
Oh, good.
yeah, things are going very well there, though. Other than that, though, I've always wanted a family. So I think that's been on my mind a lot lately. There are financial and work career goals that obviously go along with that, too. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and we'll get into all that.
Yeah, exactly.
But, okay, so genuinely, it's funny because the first person I had on this podcast was my wife, who I know so much about, and I know, nothing about you. I've known you for 6 years,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's true. And I mean, it's not like we see each other a decent amount. We do talk a decent amount, I guess, too, but
Yeah,
we
but
don't
it's always
usually-
it's always focused on the games that we're playing.
Yeah.
We do Dungeons and Dragons every other week. Have been for years.
Yep. It's a great
So-
time, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So yeah, we were introduced by a mutual friend. We were both groomsmen at his wedding. We went to his what do you call that, bachelor party?
Nashville.
Out in
Yeah.
Nashville. That was a fun
was a
time.
good time.
Don't remember much of it, but it was a fun time.
Go-karting was fun. I remember the go-karting a lot.
I
Yeah.
barely remember that.
Good time. But yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this is my opportunity to learn about you. What was your childhood like and all that?
My childhood was, I would say, very good. I mean, my parents were very involved in my life with whether it be sports or school or going to church, any of those kinds of things. They were always around, always supportive. We weren't rich people, but we had our presents and birthdays and all that. So yeah, so they were very supportive. They were always there. They raised us to be kind people. I have 3 sisters, by the way, too. So they raised us all to be kind people, respectful, well-mannered, especially whenever you're out in public and all that. Kind of to be, I wouldn't say super ambitious, but obviously, set goals for yourself, try to push yourself, right? Don't just sit back. And I think a lot of that comes from the sports and stuff growing up as well.
Yeah. What'd you play?
I played soccer and I was a swimmer,
Okay.
actually. So
What I don't know much about swimming, but what position? I don't know much about soccer either. But what position in soccer?
soccer, I was usually outside winger,
Okay.
so usually running up and down one side of the field a lot. A lot of times maybe wouldn't even get to touch the ball because I'm just running back and forth, but didn't mind it. It was a fun sport. Swimming, I did pretty much every stroke, but I liked backstroke the best. I actually went to Whippeals for backstroke too.
Oh yeah.
So that was I guess a highlight there. And I was captain of the swim team, so yeah, those were good times. But I didn't really continue that into college much. I tried intramural soccer at Penn State, where I went to college, by the way. But they were very intense. Maybe I was thinking it was gonna be fun pickup games, kind of, but it ended up being more serious than I was kind of ready to get into. But,
Yeah, I can't relate. I never played real sports in high school. But I remember elementary school and middle school, I was always so fast, one of the fastest in my class. Then I got to high school, and I started running with some of those track guys, and I was like, yeah, I'm not that fast. Realizing now.
Tried. I mean, at least you tried, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But no, I feel you on that too, because once high school came to in swimming, I noticed people were taking 1 stroke for every mine, 2, so it took some extra effort there. But
Yep.
but it still was fun. Yeah.
So you mentioned you have 3 sisters.
Yes.
Where are you in that lineup?
So I have 2. We're all 2 years apart, by the way. I have 2 older sisters and then 1 younger. The 1 younger is the one who just got married in April.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're all local as well?
Pretty local. One is out near Irwin. One is actually near my parents. You could walk to her house from my parents' house, and the other one's up in Cranberry.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's local. I mean, I've got family New York, Florida.
Yeah, we're all around Pittsburgh. Yeah.
All right,
So.
very cool.
Yeah, and we're all very involved too, to this day with each other's lives. Like we see each other every weekend, pretty much every weekend, maybe multiple times a weekend.
That's
There's
awesome.
always seems to be some sort of family event planned or birthday, or we just meet up for dinner somewhere, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
That's awesome. I feel like that's something a lot of people don't have or didn't grow up with.
I agree. I feel like a lot of people I've talked to, like even if they don't, hate their siblings or something, it's just there's distance or everybody's kind of doing their own thing, or you know what I mean? Whatever excuse there is that
Yeah.
they don't see each other or talk as much. So it is nice to know how close we are. But we always grew up that close too. So I think it would be hard for us to not continue that into our adult life.
Okay. So it sounds like as a kid, your family really instilled like family values.
Oh, definitely. Family was high priority on pretty much anything, I would say. Yeah.
Insert Fast and Furious meme here.
Yeah, there you go. Family.
Family.
So, do you mind sharing a little bit about your parents? Like, are they from the local area as well?
Yeah, so my mom grew up in McKees Rocks, and my dad actually grew up in Penn Hills. Mutual friend of theirs is actually who introduced them, and they hit it off right from the bat. I was actually talking because, with starting to date Eric, I was, getting into some more stories with my mom about how they started dating. And I remember she told me a nice story about how the first date her and my dad went on, she in the past was always uncomfortable eating in front of another man or something, but she said for some reason with my dad at that first meal, no uncomfortability whatsoever. And she said she kind of had a feeling from then on that, this was the one. So that was kind of a nice story to hear from her. But yeah, so they got married. I wish I could remember. I should remember what their
I don't remember my parents
is.
either.
I know. I try to, but yeah. But no, they've been married since then, and yeah, so 4 kids, and what do we have now, grandkids-wise? My oldest sister has 2 boys of her own. The next sister has a little girl and a little boy, and then Shannon, my little sister, has one on the way, too.
Aw.
So,
I had no idea you had nephews and nieces.
yeah, I see them all the time. They, not gonna, not to brag too much, but they love me.
Yeah, I
love,
bet.
I know, right? I'm the fun uncle, I would say. They always want to wrestle or beat up on me or whatever, and I'm fine with that. So
Yeah, you give that vibe.
yeah, thank you. I think that's a thank you. Good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But
That's what I strive for one day, except I know I'm going to be the boring uncle because, I mean, you've met my brother. He's going to be the fun one
He's-
for sure.
yeah, he does a lot. Yeah. But then again, maybe you'll be fun in different ways, right? You
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe.
So depends on what they're into too.
Yeah, maybe they're into long division.
That's a tough sell. Damn, that's a tough sell. But hey,
I tease.
Yeah, my parents were local. My mom's one sister is still pretty local too. We grew up very close with those cousins too, so we still visit them a lot. They still come to a lot of parties. We go to a lot of their parties too. So they're very close. And actually, my one cousin's son is very close with my oldest sister's one son, so they always see each other and play. So that's nice to see how they're growing up, similar to how we grew up with our cousins, kind of continuing that tradition, sort of.
Yeah. This seems pretty obvious that the values that you saw at home were passed on to you and your siblings pretty concretely.
Yeah.
Are now being passed on even further beyond that, and it sounds like a very stable way to live. Everyone is loved and respected, and
There's a lot of
has a
support,
voice.
a lot of, yeah. If anybody's ever going through something, my sisters know they can call me. I know I could call them. I know I could call my mom and dad, as most people probably can. But I know there's always somebody I can reach out to if, you know what I mean, if I'm struggling, or just to, catch up, see what's going on, that kind of a thing. So, yeah.
yeah, that's great. Are there any values or philosophies that have deviated since you were a kid, or not really? 'Cause that's an acceptable answer too.
That is it's a good question, and making me rack my brain just to think about. I honestly don't think that there's many values. Yeah, I hold all the same values that I think my family raised me with, and if I have children one day, I would want to instill the same values as well. There was a period in my life where faith kind of maybe took a backseat to other things, but I've been trying to sort of mend that. So I guess that was sort of a detour type of a thing rather than a difference in values. But other than that, I would say it's very, very similar to how we grew up, and I would like to continue that life too. It was a good life, right? So there weren't many problems I really saw in it. So yeah.
Sure. So, because you mentioned faith here, let's just touch on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What did faith look like to you as a kid, before your
So,
deviation? Or
as a kid, I grew up. We went to church every Sunday. Catholic, by the way. Went to church every Sunday. We didn't go to a Catholic school, but I went to CCD. So did that. Got baptized. Had the communion, confirmation, all of that. And I'm godfather to my one nephew, so I was there for his baptism. So faith has continued. But I mean, it was I would say a pretty big part of our life. We would always say grace. We would, you know, mention God, the values, I guess, that you learned in that faith were a big part of how we approached life still too, especially the ideas of being kind, treating others the way you'd like to be treated. Those are main takeaways, I would say. Obvious ones like don't hurt other people, all that, don't steal, but so I would say yes, we had the formal part of religion as part of our lives, and at home, yes, there were some parts that were also tradition and formal, such as prayer and things like that, but it wasn't super strict to the point of this is everything all the time, but definitely still a big part of our life growing up.
Yeah. So jumping back to today, to your present self, present times, what does success mean to you? Financially, relationally?
So, success to me, honestly, is I guess should be categorized by happiness, which, obviously life can never be perfect. There's going to be some bad times, but I would like the good times to overshadow them. To me, that doesn't necessarily mean an overabundance of money or wealth, financially, but obviously being well set in your finances helps reduce stress and gives you the freedom to do things like be able to go on a vacation or go out to that very nice dinner, or what I mean, do extracurriculars, those types of things that can help you enjoy life more. And I also believe that work shouldn't be your whole life. I do believe in the whole work-life balance. Like I like my job and everything. I like the people I work with, but it's not my entire life. I work and I bring home a paycheck so that I can do things with that paycheck, and hopefully things that make myself happy and make the people around me happy as well. So I guess that's how I would define success. I don't know if that was a little bit vague, but
No, that was great.
that's how I think of it. Yeah, I don't need to be like a CEO or something, that's raking in millions of dollars a year to be happy. I think I would be very unhappy doing that and wouldn't find myself successful because of that reason, because it would just be too much of a burden, So
I think I would agree with you in terms of being like the CEO of a company and grinding hard to make millions, like especially making millions for the sake of making millions. Now, if I just happen to be working a job I love, helping people, like being some sort of positive influence, doing something I love, and making millions incidentally, I'm not going to complain.
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, certainly not going to take a job that I don't like for a little extra cash. I use air quotes there because millions is a lot of extra cash, but
but
that's not what life is about.
I agree, 100%. So yeah, and just to give a little background on my job, I said I work for Liberty Tire Recycling. So what we do is our company collects like all the used tires, like whenever you get your tires changed or whatever. We usually go around, collect all those, and then we try to repurpose it for something useful to give it some circularity. So either it becomes like the crumb rubber, the little pieces of rubber that you would see in turf, or that's used on a track or playground kind of bottom, or we turn into rubber mulch. I'm sure you've seen rubber mulch around, or there's tire-derived fuel that we make out of it too, that like a cement kiln or a paper mill can burn for their energy instead of a natural gas or coal. So
cool.
That's just kind of, which is why it's kind of nice knowing that what I'm doing is kind of helping a little bit the earth, maybe doing something with this rubber that otherwise would just be going into a landfill or something like that. So
Right.
that is nice that we do something positive. But yeah, so money is okay for the job too. I don't know if this is maybe getting too into it, but whatever.
Oh, you're good.
I would like to make more, I think, especially because I mean, nowadays how expensive a lot of things are. Student loans take up a good chunk of a paycheck every month, so it would be nice to have more money. And to be honest, too, on my mind are things like a marriage or how much is a wedding going to cost, those kind of things. How much will a child cost? Want them to be able to live comfortably too. So, the past couple years I've been a little bit lax with my company about pushing for more of a raise, but especially over this past year, I've let them know a few times that I kind of expect a larger increase maybe coming. Sure. And it's a difficult conversation to have with bosses, especially when you're like kind of friendly with your bosses too. You know what I mean? It can be a bit awkward, but I mean, if there is a piece of advice I'd give for anybody out there, young worker, make sure to ask the question. Like it never hurts to, and figure out what in your area the average salary is for your position and stuff, and document some projects and things you've done. But always good to ask for a raise or something, especially if you think you deserve it. So. But, yeah, I mean, I get bonuses, though, and things like that, too. But, yeah.
So, to the amount that you're comfortable sharing, how much do you make per year?
Per year, I believe my salary right now is around $76,000. It might be it's a weird number, like 7,620, something like that,
Sure.
I think my take-home after 401k contribution, benefits, all that kind of all that is about $2,000 biweekly.
Okay.
That's what it ends up being. So I think I did the breakdown earlier in my head. It's like little over $4,300 a month, kind of is what it breaks down to be.
That's after like taxes are taken
like take
out.
home. So that's all, and taxes. Yeah. So that's the take home is that $2,000 biweekly. So it's not bad. And like I said, I do get bonuses on top of that. Usually do a yearly bonus that's just based on the prior year's performance. I would like to get into some other stuff, but my company wouldn't allow me to talk about that probably. So, but
Sure.
I mean, other than that, I don't really have too many other sources of income. I mean, I have a little bit in some stocks, but it's not really that much. I think it's like $1,200 and some spread around different stocks, like some Ford stock and Sirius XM radio and things like that. Trying to think if there's not really any other income sources besides those. But I started at my company at $45,000, so I think
that's substantial.
I think I've done a pretty good job with increasing over the years. But like I said, I think that I've been staying in this like 70 to 76 range for or what was it, like 74 to 76 range for the past couple of years. So
okay,
I think it's that's why I've been kind of pushing them a little bit on getting me a little bit higher up. Especially because our company's grown. We've acquired some other companies. Like there is more work to be done, and things are looked at under more of a microscope and stuff. So I think it was warranted to ask for it, but we'll see how that goes.
Well, best of luck to you on that.
Thank you. Yep.
So what's your living situation like? And I ask this because I want to talk about expenses and things like that.
Yeah, that's fair. So I have my own house, single story with a basement, has a garage, 3-bedroom, 2 full bathroom. Mortgage on that is about $1,380 a month, I want to say.
Oh, I'm so envious.
I know it's not a huge house, but yeah, I got it. I bought it like right at a great time too, before interest rates hiked up a lot and stuff. Like I was happy that I closed on that quickly. But at the house, so the $1,380 mortgage, it's probably about $115 a month on gas, $90 to $100 a month on electric. I think I pay about $160 every 3 months on my water and sewage bill. It's technically part of Penn Hills, I guess, borough waste collection, but they don't charge anything for their trash service. I think I do like $100 for the internet. I don't have cable. I thought about it, but you can get everything through streaming and whatnot nowadays. So
yeah.
The other thing with a house, and you know this too, the hidden costs of the house, the things that break, the things that need replaced, the small improvements that you just want to make, you know what I mean, to either make it more comfortable or for resale value. Just recently my water heater broke. It didn't break to the point where I couldn't have hot water, but it was leaking underneath, and I didn't want to let that go and it break, and then obviously you have to spend a lot more for cleanup and anything else, that might get ruined because it completely breaks, and you just show up one morning or something and can't take a hot shower. Would be annoying. So I just had that taken care of quickly. I think altogether that cost me $1,500. So it wasn't too bad, I think, and got it all taken care of within 1 week. Other things that I've needed to do, the fridge went on me after the first year, so I had to replace the fridge. I put in some new cabinets and a shelf. My front wall was leaning into the driveway, so with the help of my dad, we took down the whole thing, dug it back, re-poured like a little footer, and then rebuilt the wall with the existing block. So kind of took care of that. I think the other side will probably need to be done next year, though, so not looking forward to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm very familiar with all these expenses adding up.
Yeah, yeah.
Homeownership, yeah.
It is. It's a lot of stuff, and you don't know when they're going to come, so, and that's the thing. Like, I'm pretty decent at saving my money, whatever little bit that I have at the end of each month, but one thing goes wrong and you kind of blow through it quickly, and then you're saving again. But
yeah, so I was going to ask, do you have a particular saving strategy that you use?
So I have budgeted basically after some discretionary spending, all my expenses, what I take in. I think I end up with about 500-ish, $400 to 500-ish extra dollars a month. So I take 90% of that and try to put it into a savings account, just on my regular PNC checking savings account. And then, yeah, that's basically all I do, unless I know that there's some other expense coming up or something that I can't move that into my savings. Maybe there's a game tickets that I bought this month or something, so that just stays in my checking so I can pay for that. You know what I mean? Those kind of things, which that happens on some months, but the money, I do try to, it's good to get used to putting something into savings, because then you just don't miss it. You know what I mean? You're used to sort of living without that little bit. And then, obviously, if something goes wrong, you have an emergency fund for whenever things go wrong. But so I do try to keep in my savings, though, at least like around $2,000 or more, like at the minimum. Sometimes it gets depleted, goes up higher, but, back and forth as
Sure.
expenses come and go. But
So you said your income's about 4,000-ish,
a little over
roughly.
4,000 a month, yeah.
A little over 4,000. And you're ending up after discretionary spending, at around 500 left for...
Yeah, and other costs and stuff, yeah.
Okay. So that means your living expenses, including discretionary spending and things like that, is around $3,500 a month.
Yeah. Well, that's, and a big chunk of that would be, so my student loans, for example.
Sure.
I think it's about $1,000 a month for the private loans, and then another $230 a month for the federal. So another $1,230 a month.
Is that $1,000 a month the minimum payment, or are you like voluntarily paying more?
That is the minimum payment that I'm doing right now on those. Yeah. Whenever I was living at home, I was doing more than the minimum payment, just because, didn't have the amount of expenses I have. But once I moved into a house, I kind of couldn't quite do that. I don't, and the thing is, I liked saving up more than putting onto the student loans. I know some people say it's a good strategy, right, to pay those higher to get the principal down, which I did do that, though, on the federal loans, because, right, they froze the interest for however many years, so I just kept paying that to get that down. But yeah, other than that, I pay the minimum amount most of the time. I mean, I can't talk about too much, but there are certain things happening with my job too that I may end up with a very large lump sum bonus at some point here in the next year or so. And if like in the tens of thousands of dollars amount. So if that works out the way that I'm hoping it will, I'll probably throw a good bit about that. Like I could probably wipe out the rest of my federal loans with that, and then maybe start paying a little bit more on the private too. But I mean, the private, you should have seen whenever I first graduated college. I'm not going to blame my mother or anybody else, but I don't know why somehow the loans were on a variable rate instead of fixed, and that shot up to like 14-15%.
Oof.
Yeah, so I quickly, though, got that refinanced, which was good for me. I think down to around 6% interest rate instead, so that was a much more manageable rate, at least.
Sure. Okay. So let me just try to run this through my head here.
Go ahead.
Roughly, I'm ballparking here, but sounds like roughly $1,600 to $1,700 a month going towards housing and utilities. Do you have a car loan?
Yes, I do. $350 a month.
Car is costing about $450-ish a month, including gas. Oh, plus
with the gas,
insurance
yeah, true,
too.
true. Gas,
Insurance
yeah.
too.
Yep,
So
insurance
a little
is
more than
$150 a month. Yeah.
Okay, that's not leaving a lot of room for discretionary.
No, it doesn't. And I mean, we go to lunches at work and stuff, but luckily my company is good about reimbursing some of our lunches and whatnot. And we go to a place that is pretty cheap, maybe $20 for a lunch. That includes a tip and everything too, so that's not too bad. I do try to pack my own lunches though. Cook a lot of my own food. I don't go out too much to eat unless me and Erica go on a date or something. But I consider myself a pretty good cook too. So I enjoy cooking. It's a nice hobby I think to have. So I try to shop pretty well, look for deals, and kind of plan my meals around if this ground meat's on sale or this chicken's on sale. That's what's going to be in the meal this week, that kind of a thing. And then you can always make good food pretty cheaply too. Like pasta is a pretty cheap meal that you can make in bulk too and have for the week. So things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, our go-to is rice and beans.
Yeah, I love rice and beans.
Yeah, I mean, we both have Hispanic in whatever. She's Puerto Rican background, Ecuadorian background. So rice and beans is like huge in our cultures.
It's in the blood. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like oh no, it's rice and beans night. It's like, yay, rice and beans night. Where did I want to go with this? I'd love to see that 2,000 is a decent savings rate to just have like as a goal at any given time. If a typical month's living expenses is about $3,500, I'd love to see it closer to that.
I know.
So you could go a full month.
I know. Me too. But I know. Yeah, I probably would be sometimes if something like the water heater didn't wipe out a lot, but it happens.
Yep.
Which I did just get actually an extra bonus, kind of for not much of a reason, but so that helped actually pay for a lot of that kind of stuff. So I'll have another 2,000 I think that I'll be able to throw into savings. I don't know when that's going to get paid. Maybe by the end of this month, early September. But yeah. But just so you know too, for budgeting purposes, it's good to have the monthly budget, which I do have that. But if you're pretty decent with Excel and you know your expenses and the specific days that you pay certain things versus when you're getting paid, I like having a detailed budget like that too, so that I can actually look at my bank account cash level and just make sure that there's not like a weird timing of things. Like, how sometimes just when your paycheck comes in versus, when a bunch of expenses hit, sometimes it can be a little weird. So that's nice to have just to keep for my own sanity. I'm going to have, plenty of money in my account, on every day or whatever. So,
yeah.
And it's nice to check against it too, because then I can go in and say, oh, today is whatever, the 19th of August. What did I say I was going to have in my bank account? Am I pretty close to that? Like, and if I'm not, it's like, oh, I've been going out too much or spending too much. Let's cut back. Yeah, that kind of a thing.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So you mentioned about 500 a month roughly going to savings. Is that automated or is that manual?
Manual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, PNC's okay.
Yeah. That's just what I have. So I haven't really done research on going to anybody else or anything. If I had more savings, by the way, too, I probably would put it like I was talking about. If I got this lump sum payment that I'm expecting, I maybe would put a decent amount in like a higher yield savings account that's just more longer term and for more larger kind of things. Like a SoFi or something like that, where you get an annual 5-6%, something like that. I don't dabble in stocks too much just because of how volatile they are. So, but I don't have a financial advisor actually either too. But if things work out with Erica, that'll probably be a step to take.
Yeah. Life insurance too.
I have life insurance.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, sorry, I should have mentioned that. It's only like $13 a month, I think, through State Farm. But yeah, the 25-year insurance, yeah. I forget the full details of it, but
yeah, that's fine.
It's a good... And then obviously I have life insurance through my company too, so there's a couple of different things that would get paid out to people. God forbid something were to happen. But
right, yeah. Yeah, it's nice to know that your family doesn't have to... They won't be stretched by having to cover your funeral, and especially once you're married.
And any other debts that are on there or anything like that, yes, yeah.
I don't know Erica's situation. I'm not going to ask for any of her details, especially without her being here to authorize any of that. But I know with Alex and I, I'm by far the bigger earner in our household. So if something were to happen to me, it's not just I need to make sure that she's, has enough to cover the funeral. It's I want her to be okay
for a while,
for life if possible.
If possible, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be ideal. I don't know if I have that much for my payout of my life insurance, but I'll have to take
Yeah.
another look at it. Like I said, it's the 25 year, and I'm not really sure how that works if you want to change it like midway through the plan period.
They'll be
you know what I
happy to
mean?
sell you.
I'm sure they
They'll
would.
be happy to get more money from you each month.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think it is like 48. Whenever I'm 48, that was whenever this current plan would expire. So that's not super old either.
Yeah, no,
but
that's not too bad.
yeah, I see what you mean. And I mean, to be fair, I am the higher earner between me and Erica, so that's a good thing to keep in mind, though, Dan. Honestly,
General advice is usually 10 years your household income.
Okay.
So if both of you combined, I don't know what she makes, but let's say both of you combined makes 100,000, then a $1 million plan is usually good because 10 years that annual income, and then you think that $1 million isn't just sitting there. It's now you put that in a high yield savings account or some other sort of investment.
it's at least making more money. Yeah,
Exactly.
that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, that million will pump out. Just sitting in a SoFi or an Ally Bank, that'll pump out 40,000 a year.
Which is nice. I mean, yeah.
Basically,
That's a good
replaces half
idea.
your salary.
Right? And then that increases every year if you don't use it all, at least.
Right.
So, no, now that you say that, I'm going to probably go home and pull up my life insurance plan and take another look at it.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, you don't need to do that until you have like a
yeah.
family. But
yeah, but I might want to just refresh myself on what exactly is in there.
So let's jump into the hypothetical here for a moment. Do you have like a number in mind of what an annual salary would look like that would like really set you up to meet your future goals?
To really set me up. So, see, this is tough because it would depend on a few different variables. To be extremely comfortable and set, probably around 120,000 or more a year. To be manageable and comfortable, and if Erica continues to work, I would probably be okay with 90 to 100,000. Which, to be fair, is kind of what I told my company too, that I'd be like to be closer to the $90,000 range. So we'll see how that negotiation works. But
I mean, that's a 20% jump. That's
it is. It's a big jump. But
yeah.
that is an average for actually my position that I told him about. So, and you know, I have been thinking, like I said, I like my company, I like who I work with, I like what we do, but as you know, my family values are more important to me. So I would probably, if I need to make 90,000 or 100,000 or more, I would probably look for another position at a different company that's able to do that. So I don't have like a problem doing that. I would ideally, where I work now, it would be able to meet my conditions, but
Sure.
I would put my family before, being comfortable where I work at. So, yeah.
Okay. Good stuff.
Yeah. The 120 is, I know that would be basically where I'm at in my company, there's some people that are getting older, getting ready to retire. So there are going to be some open positions here in the next 3 to 5 years. So that's an opportunity that I think if I'm still there, that I'll definitely have to be plugged in on and, be ready for. So to be able to move up quickly and perhaps make a little bit more. But, yeah.
You mentioned you have a 401k at work.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you have some sort of company match.
Yes.
Okay. Do you happen to know what your contribution level is and what the match is?
My contribution is, I believe, 6%.
Okay.
And their match is 4%.
You probably know this. 6% is really low for retirement savings.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I would say 6%. I would not change that, though, because you're getting the company match for that, and you definitely want to maximize that because that's just free money.
Yeah, exactly.
Prioritizing the loans, I would probably agree, is next. And then once those loans are paid off and you have a little bit extra, I know.
The loans would be a big weight off the shoulders.
Man, I'm afraid to ask. What's the term on those loans? Like when?
30 year. So
Okay.
I think they would be up, might be 2048 now. Yeah. So 30 years, yep.
Yeah. That'd make you 50. Definitely don't want to wait till 50 to start pumping more into retirement savings.
I know.
Wait. Dan from the editing room here. While I was reviewing this episode, some of the math on the loans wasn't adding up, so in a follow-up call I had with Anthony, he clarified that the loan actually has a 15-year term, and due to the extra payments that he made when he was still living with his parents, the loan is already down to half of its original principal. So he actually should be on track to have it paid off by 2031 if he just continues to make minimum payments. The rest of the discussion, including my recommendations to him, remains the same.
It is. I know, and I think about it a lot, and it does weigh on me, Dan, honestly, which obviously another reason why I'd like to make more money, because if I am making more money, I can maybe throw a little bit more money onto those loans to try to get them paid down quickly.
Yeah.
But
what's the interest rate on those?
The private is 6%.
Okay.
The federal, I think whatever the federal rate is, like 3%, something like that.
Okay,
the
that's
federal
not
rate's
bad.
at, yeah. But it's, and I think what I have left on the private is somewhere in the ballpark of 55,000.
Okay.
I want to say. The federal, I think there's only like 2,500, 3,000 left on there actually, which I've been debating whether I should pay that, just pay it off and be done with the monthly payment, and then take that monthly payment that I was already paying that and maybe just add that to the private loans. I don't know. So I'll have to think of a good strategy for that though.
Yeah, that'd be the snowball method of attacking debt, and that might make sense in your case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is with work, without getting into too much detail, it's possible that I get like a lump sum of like $50,000. So let's go with a hypothetical. If I were to get that amount of money all at once, do I put all of it just on my private student loans to try and get rid of them, or do I only use a piece of it and maybe try to save the other piece for whatever other expenses I have if I decide to move, or if I do get married and for a wedding, or you know what I mean, honeymoon, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I know
it's something to think about.
You're not gonna love my advice.
Go ahead. No, I want to hear it though.
My advice would genuinely be boost your base rate savings to 1 month's worth of living expenses. Whatever
get up
that
to that
is,
35,
get up to that
40,000.
35, and throw all the rest at that 6% loan. Try to get out of that loan as fast as you can, because once you can free up an extra $1,000 a month,
It would be between that and the federal, pretty much $1,300 a month. That's
it's
like my mortgage almost again. Like, yeah.
That's significant. And at that point, you take a portion of that and start putting it towards a Roth IRA. I would do next. I'd probably just max it out. That's another 6,000 a year, 7,000, whatever. Start throwing it into that, and now you're setting yourself up for a solid retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
It makes the wedding more difficult.
But I mean, there's other things. There's other things I can do though too. I mean, because the student loan debt is probably my worst debt interest rate wise. So even if I were to pay that down and have to get, I mean, I could always get like a home equity line of credit that's a much lower percentage rate if I need to pay for something in a large lump sum, something like that. If I need to get a different kind of loan, that's always a possibility. You're kind of just trading for a lower percentage rate debt, but
yeah,
it's not horrible either.
That scares me though.
Really?
Because if you default on a home equity, now your house is at risk.
Yeah, that's true. I've never had a problem with defaulting on anything though, but which is I guess good. But yeah.
Yeah. Still though, the risk there is, I don't know.
Guess it would be it depends on the amount too, right? That you'd be willing to. So, we'll see though.
Yeah,
but
we'll see. Maybe there's something we can. Well, like we said, if we do another one of these in a couple years,
I'll know more by then too. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe I'll get the raise I want and the other payment that I want, and maybe a lot of this stuff just kind of goes away. Would be nice, but yeah, we'll see.
If you got it's a big if, but if you got a big lump sum, you could throw it at the debt and knock out a significant portion of the debt, and then start putting in money towards a Roth IRA. And even after that, you'd still have a few $100s a month left for discretionary spending or savings or whatever the heck you wanted to do with it.
I'd be in a much better position. Yeah. I know. I would. It's just it's a difficult amount. Like it is.
Of course.
So, but I know. It is on my mind too, Dan. I know that. So, you know me. I'm not. I work as a financial analyst, so I do think about it a lot.
Yeah.
But
what did you get your degree in?
Energy business and finance, actually, was my degree from Penn State. I started out electrical engineering. Wasn't quite for me. A lot of school. Whenever you started getting into the maths that were theoretical maths with the quadruple integrals and whatnot, I was like, yeah, this I don't know if I like this that
Yeah,
much.
where
but-
are the numbers?
Right, exactly. And then you see one, you're like, oh my God, there's a number here. um, but that I was great at like making the circuits, like the practical classes and stuff like that. But yeah, some of the other accompanying ones weren't great. But I liked the major I ended up in, like the professors my last couple years of school. So I think it worked out well. Yeah. So
All right. If you don't mind, I want to pivot a little bit now.
yeah.
So we've been talking about finances for quite some time. I like to talk about health.
Okay.
So I believe there are three fundamental facets of health: physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. And for everybody, that looks differently. You are in pretty good shape. You seem like you're intentional about
Yeah. I mean,
at least physical health.
I'm sure I could be better about some things. But I eat a pretty balanced diet. You know, it's not like I'm counting specifically what calories or whatever I'm getting, but I always make sure to, on a daily or weekly basis at least, get my fruits, veggies, my grains, my protein, you know, get all the food groups in there, my dairy. I drink a glass of milk every night. I always have, always will.
I'm just curious. This has like no importance at all, but out of curiosity, do you just drink normal
Whole milk.
whole milk?
Whole milk.
Okay.
Yeah, I have since as long as I can remember, actually. Just funny, my godfather, my Uncle Dan, he's the same way. He likes a nice cold glass of whole milk almost every night, yeah. So that's something I do. I take a multivitamin every day, too. I'd say I'm pretty active. You know, I'll take walks at lunch at work, or I'll take a walk with Erica. We went to Ohio Pile a couple weekends ago. That was nice. Did a hike. I'll work out lately in my own house. I don't have like a gym membership. I just have like a pull-up bar and some dumbbells and stuff around that. I'll just do some light things myself, or like I said, just go on a walk. But then I'm also kind of active with, my dad does like side jobs sometimes with concrete, so you know I'll do those with him, which is, you know, it's pouring concrete and stuff, but it's an activity to do, and it's nice to do something like that, to do some work. You get paid for it, and you get to see, you know, instant results of it. You know, the instant gratification of it is nice, and different than sitting in an office. So it's always a nice change of pace when those opportunities come up. So yeah, I would say I'm pretty normal for a physical health. Obviously, right, there's more I could do. Like I know I could get a gym membership maybe and go to like a Planet Fitness or something a few times a week would be nice. And I used to work out a lot more in college. So, you know, I've been throwing that around in my mind recently if I want to get back into doing that or not, but haven't quite made a decision.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to or would be motivated by that. I know me personally, if I had a gym membership, I would be no more motivated to go. Actually, I would be less likely to work out if I had a gym membership, because I'd feel like I'd have to go to the gym to work out. Whereas right now I've got, you know, well, I'm in a bit of a weird situation because I've got a whole power rack with like barbells and
that's
all
what
that.
Erica has at her house. Actually, she says she can do like squats and things like that, which is nice.
But you don't need all, like, dumbbells and a pull-up bar.
And a pull-up bar. And I have I mean, at my parents' house, they've been telling me to take, which I could, is there's like an easy curl bar there, and they do have a bench at their house that I don't know if my dad really uses, so I could take that stuff, but my basement needs cleaned out a bit for there to be room for all of that. So I mean, there are options for things for me to do, like you said, that I'm not getting a gym membership, but maybe that's something I'll think about later, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can still do enough though to stay healthy, and like you said, I'm not like fat or, you know what I mean, I don't have any cholesterol problems or anything like that. So
have you, out of curiosity, have you ever struggled with any sort of body dysmorphia or body image issues?
There was a time, actually, I guess I'll get into this, in beginning of middle school, 7th grade, especially because meeting kids that I didn't go to elementary school with and stuff, I was made fun of a little bit for my height and my size. So there was a period of time there where it got to me, but I kind of just worked through those feelings myself, and I don't know, I like myself, and I was like, people are friends with me and like me, like, and, you know, kind of got over that. Sometimes it bothers me still, like, it would be nice if I was 6 foot, you know, but I think everybody kind of feels that way too, you know what I mean? Just like somebody who's 5'11" probably thinks that, you know, or, you know, if you're a larger person that you would think, I wish I was skinnier, but, you know, there's certain things you can control, certain things you can't. But no, I think other than that, I didn't really have any problems. I've had a couple concussions though too, so that's one thing I should worry about for concussions in my life. So,
From sports?
couple from sports. Soccer. There was one where went up to headbutt or header a ball and another guy at the same time, and we like kind of ended up hitting each other. I don't even think we hit the ball actually too. So that was a good one. Once in gym class, I was going to pick up a football like to clean up after gym class. For some reason, a guy was like running and not looking at me, and he was like a bigger dude and said he couldn't stop himself and ran into me, and my head went down into the floor. Another time was this was a ridiculous one. It was at swim practice, and I was walking out of the locker room and just slipped on the pool deck and hit the back of my head. So that was another one. And then yeah, once in college, I might have been drinking a bit too much and went down some steps. But yeah, so those were my concussions. So that is something I should probably keep an eye out for. Like if that, I don't know, I don't really know what the long term effects could be. We probably won't know until they happen. But yeah, something to keep an eye on.
All right. Oh well, overall, it seems like you're in pretty solid, shape.
I think so. Yeah.
Pretty solid history too.
Yeah, I'd say so. Not too many family issues either. So I mean, like health wise, my parents have some high cholesterol, but I feel like once you get to a certain age, a lot of people do. I don't need anything with my eyes either, no glasses or anything. So that's helpful.
Great. All right, solid. Mental health.
Mental health.
So this would be any official diagnoses if this entire room is actually just an illusion and you are in fact just sitting in front of a TV right now. I suppose it's a possibility.
We would never know, right?
We would never know. Oh, you would never know. Mental health. Mental health. I'd also consider doing things that just challenge you mentally beyond beyond learning new skills or abilities or chess, things like that.
So I guess mental health, no problems, no psychoses or anything like that I've been diagnosed with at least. I guess mental exercise wise, I like my video games. I like D&D. I would say those are pretty good mental exercises, right? You have to be creative. You have to think through strategies and puzzles and stuff like that. I play Sudoku as like a spare thing to do that I like. What else would be considered like a mental? I guess I don't know if cooking would really be considered too mentally stimulating.
Maybe not, but I'd be interested in abilities, hobbies, interests that you do.
Cooking's that. I mean, I like doing things with my hands. So like I said, I put up those cabinets in my house and a shelf. I'll do my own plumbing. I can do my own concrete if I need to. Like I said, with tearing down and rebuilding that wall, I'm pretty good with woodworking, those types of things. But I guess I wouldn't really do it. I don't do it much as like a hobby. Like I don't go decide to make like a little clock or something, or like a counter or coffee table or something like that out of wood. It's more, there's this thing that I could do in my house or at somebody else's house. I'll do it myself, something like that.
I mean, that's a really good ability to have, though.
Yes, it's nice.
I won't touch plumbing. Like, as soon as there's a plumbing issue, I'm like, somebody help me.
Plumbing's probably my least favorite, but it can be done. It's just, plumbing's always one of those things that feels like I'll do it and I cut that pipe slightly too short or whatever. Like, it always seems like there's a little something that goes wrong. It doesn't quite fit right up. I have to slightly adjust this or that, but usually get the job done. And I grew up doing those things with my dad too. So I mean, that's the way I was raised. Was if you can do it yourself, do it yourself. Try to save some money on that. And it's just good knowledge to have for if an emergency something goes wrong. Kind of your house well, sort of.
Yeah.
Other than that, what else do I do for fun? Really. Not too much. I don't have too many hobbies. I've tried to read books here and there, and every so often I will. If I find a good book I like, but oftentimes I'll start reading and other things will come up and I'll put the book down and weeks will go by and then it's kind of difficult to pick it back up.
Sure. So what does consume most of your time then, like outside of work?
Outside of work, I would say, I get home it takes me a little bit to cook, or if I need to stop at the store or something. So there's a lot of nights where I'm not home till 6:37. Then I'll put something on TV, or I'll just eat in silence kind of while I'm there, listen to music. After I do that, I'll probably play like a video game if I have that, or I usually have plans maybe to go out, or I'll take a walk. But yeah, then it's either like a video game, or I don't know if there's something else that I need to do, or my own personal life, or something for work maybe, or I don't know, there's always something that kind of comes up to look into or do, you know what I mean? Like I'll look into my life insurance, and you know what I mean? Things like that I might just sort of look into, read some news articles, things like that. But overall, that's really it. I don't, it might sound kind of boring, but I don't know. I do try to go out when I can. I like getting outside. I like going to see people. Like I'm not a big. I text Erica a lot, obviously, but like I don't text a super amount like with my friends and stuff. It's more, when do you want to meet up or something is the extent of our text. I do like golf though too. I forgot to mention that. So I'll try to get out golfing a decent amount if I can.
Okay.
But that's kind of an expensive hobby to have.
It feels like most hobbies are.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
once you get deep enough into it, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
With maybe the exception of Dungeons and Dragons.
That's true. That
Surprisingly not that
can
expensive.
be a cheap one. Yes. You can find a lot of resources online. So.
Oh yeah. All right. Spiritual health then. So we kind of already talked about
A little bit.
spiritual health quite a bit. Is there anything you'd like to see out of your spiritual life, or not really? How recently did you start, I guess, coming back to it? Are we talking months or years?
Months. I don't. I kind of am getting out of it what I wanted. It's hard to describe with spiritual sense. It's like when do you feel fulfilled or not fulfilled by it? I can tell one thing, that it has reduced like my stress, and I don't know, help put things in more perspective in that sense too. Not be too bogged down or worried by the day-to-day life and worldly things too much. Like obviously we have to live in the world, we have to do things, we have to be on top of things, but try not to let it weigh on your soul too much. But I mean, long-term goals is, to kind of continue that relationship with God, keep it always growing, always there, help it to inform your decisions, to basically be a good person. Hopefully, one day have children that are also raised in that sense too. But other than that, it's hard to, I don't know. Do you have a suggestion for like a goals sort of you can set? It's such
I have a challenging question for you.
Okay.
Why bother?
Why bother?
Why bother?
With
Why even bother keeping up a spiritual life? So many people get by without one, like, at all.
That is a good question, and it's a difficult one to answer, because it's almost like why choose a lot of things in your life? Why choose D&D as the thing because I like it, because it makes me feel good. It's what I choose to believe. I guess it's kind of the definition of faith, right? Like there's not so much a reason behind it other than it itself. I don't know. I don't know if that's a roundabout way to explain it, but that's the way that I would think about it. Yeah, I don't know how else to put it besides that. And maybe it sounds selfish, but it makes me feel good. Makes me feel like it can, sometimes you do think about like your life could end abruptly, and the idea that there's something is also a comforting fact. I don't want to sound like that's cowardice or anything like that, but it's comforting knowing that there's a place where maybe you'll see your loved ones and other loved ones will see you. You know what I mean? That kind of a thing too. But on top of that too, I think just the general morals that go along with it, the community that goes along with it. It's a lot of love there, So, and that what's wrong with more of that in your life? So
Yeah, it's often said that you become like the people you spend the most time around, and I've always found that to be true. And I do think having a good church and friends, especially from a church, especially if you can find friends in roughly the same age group, and start doing events with them or hanging out with them. Echo chamber has such a negative connotation, and I don't think an echo chamber is something you want to be in necessarily. But being surrounded by like-minded people who are all striving for something beyond themselves, becoming the best versions of themselves, yes, but not at the sacrifice of the people around them.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. Right? Yeah, that was a very good way to put it, Dan. And to be honest, a lot of my close friends aren't church-going people. You know, like Ian. I mean, but it was kind of nice growing up. Ian would sometimes like come to church with my family actually and stuff too. So it's not like he doesn't like it or anything. But I mean, my other friends grew up. Some of them grew up actually went to Catholic school and stuff, but they've sort of not gone to church in a while. And I've asked them about it if they want to come around and stuff, and they kind of go like, I don't know. Kind of shake it off. I'm not gonna like drag somebody, right, or anything. I mean that wouldn't be the right way to do it anyway. That you kind of have to make that choice yourself. But like we talked about before, with my family is a good support system for that. Though I can always go to church with my parents, or my sister would want to go to church with me, or that kind of a thing. So there's other people besides my friends at least that I go to church with. Maybe we should go to church sometime together.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Especially because it's nice. It makes for a nice Sunday too. You go to church, and like me and Erica like to go to like First Watch or something right over here for a little brunch, and I don't know, do some shopping, or or just walk around somewhere. Like I don't know, it like sets the tone for a nice day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah. So we talked about spiritual goals. We kind of jumped over, however, physical or mental goals. Do you have any physical, mental goals, or is it kind of maintain?
I would say maintain. Mentally, I would like to read more, honestly, because especially whenever I find a good book, I do immerse myself in it. Like I enjoy it, and it's nice to get away from the screens too. Like I'm at work all day looking at spreadsheets, and then I'll come home and look at the TV screen for either TV or like an Xbox game or PlayStation game or computer game, whatever.
Yeah.
But so I'm surprised my eyesight is still good, but I feel like that can't keep up forever too.
Uh-huh.
And I know reading also isn't like kind of maybe hurts your eyesight a little, but still it's better. It's a different way. And I don't know, it just helps with vocabulary, I think, and the way you speak if you read more, right? You can tell well-spoken people usually, for the most part, I feel like are good readers or read a decent bit. Other than that, on the physical side of things, I used to be a little bit more fuller muscle wise, so I would like to put more effort into that. But I know that comes with a slew of other things, like certain dietary changes, and like I said, I eat well, but maybe I would have to pack in some more protein, or you know what I mean, those types of things, and just be more consistent on the working out too. And like I said, I like to walk, but I would like to do more of the hiking as well. Like I've really enjoyed that with Erica, and that's and she said the same thing. It's different than just walking. Obviously, you're in nature and stuff, but you're not just walking on flat ground. You get to jump over tree roots and down little, you know what I mean? So it's a nice varying sort of exercise that I enjoy. So I would like to get out and do that more often, definitely. And it's cheap, so that also helps too,
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I would say that's mostly my physical goals. There's not really too much.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like, at least in terms of health, physical, mental, spiritual health, you're doing all right. Like no major complaints, no major stretch reach goals that you need to align yourself to reach.
Like I could always do better, right?
Yeah, of course, we all can.
I wouldn't say I'm doing bad either. Yeah, very very middling. Erica would say that I could eat better. Like today I had a Reuben for lunch with French fries instead of the side salad, so maybe I could have done that. But I mean, I'm gonna have a salad for dinner later, so I'm that's where I'm usually good about little give and take on that kind of stuff. But,
right. I mean, you got to enjoy life too.
Right. Yeah. You know how it can get though. Even maintaining with that stuff sometimes can be difficult, especially if other things enter your life. Right. Like let's say I marry Erica. Right. That you plan a wedding. Do you start falling off on your diet? You start getting fast food or something? Do you stop walking? If you have a child, like do other things? Does exercise kind of take a backseat? The video games take a backseat? Are you not really doing anything for your mental health? So, even though we say maintaining as if it's easy, sometimes it's not that easy. Especially, it's almost like you are doing more just because other things are going on in your life too. So,
Right. Well, it's easy to maintain when everything else is coasting.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, it becomes much more difficult when changes are introduced, for sure. All right. So, I guess talking to yourself, a year from now, 2 years, 3 years, whenever we look back on this, whenever you look back on this, is there anything you want to tell yourself or any goals you want to set for yourself? And take your time to think about it.
Anthony, I hope that you get the raise that you're looking for, and or if that doesn't work out, have the courage to find another position if you need to. Do what's right for you and your own well-being. Don't be too comfortable. I also hope that you are engaged, at least to Erica, and are very, very much so thinking about, the wedding plans or what the family future is there. But those are my two main goals for you.
All right. Fantastic. And now to not yourself, but to anyone who might be listening if this podcast ever catches on and becomes a thing, do you have any experiences from your life, maybe lessons learned or things that have worked out really well, that you would like to share as some sort of advice?
In general, in your life, don't ever give up. If there are, especially if, it might sound kind of silly, if you were a younger kid or something, there were certain things that you wanted. I don't think it's ever too late to still aspire to those things. And don't be afraid of failure. Definitely, life is about failure. So go ahead and fail, learn lessons from it, move forward. There was a time in my life that I probably sat pretty complacently, especially whenever it comes to either work or relationships, and it's a difficult spot to get yourself out of once you get too comfortable like that. So, always be taking a step forward. Don't be complacent because you think, because you're afraid of failure, basically. That's no way to live, in my opinion, if I've learned anything from my life. So definitely do that. And like Dan said, maybe pay off your student loans as soon as you can.
Anthony Greco, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dan. Nice being here.
All right.
Let's do this.
Yeah.